Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News.
Good afternoon and welcome back to WKYT News as we continue at 12:30. Bill Bryant, Rebecca Smith is in today for Barbara.
Yeah, the big hole in the middle of downtown Lexington, known as the Center Point Project, of course, is at the center of controversy again.
A huge piece of equipment is going to be needed to come in and help with the construction, but city fathers have balked because of a lot of traffic concerns. And we have more on that.
WKYT Sean Moody tracking the situation, joining us now with our top story at 12:30.
Well, the city has issued the building permit for the shell of the office tower and the restaurant. Now the city and developers are trying to find a time when they can move a big crane into the pit. Jerry Fawcett spends a lot of time walking around the area.
I've seen it from when they're started from scratch to what it is now.
She's curious to see what will happen next. Getting the crane in won't be simple. A city traffic engineer says Main Street between Limestone and Upper would have to close for 42 hours. Because this is such a busy area in the heart of downtown, city officials are having a hard time trying to figure out a weekend that will work.
It'd be interesting to see how they do it, you know.
The city has granted a building permit for a $24.4 million project, including the shell of the 12-floor building and the Jeff Ruby restaurant.
It's been a long time growing, and I'm interested to see what it all brings.
And that traffic engineer said Vine Street would also have to close for 42 hours on the next clear weekend. At this point, it's not clear when either of those moves will happen. In Lexington, Sean Moody, WKYT.
Sean, thank you. Just a little background. It's been 6 years since the Center Point block was demolished. Construction started last December.
Well, if you have not received your flu shot as of yet, it may take a little bit longer to get one because some key shipments of the vaccine have been delayed, that forcing healthcare providers nationwide to put off vaccinations. National manufacturers of the flu vaccine are experiencing delays in production this season. That means poor supply throughout Kentucky. While there is no shortage, there is certainly a delay in shipment. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the overall vaccine supply is behind by about 10 million doses compared to other times of year.
We're finding out more about the brutal killing of a family from the only survivor of a quadruple shooting out in western Kentucky. Ryan Champion lost his father, his mother, and sister in Sunday's deadly shooting in Trigg County. He says Vito Reservato tied him up along with his sister Emily. And Champion says his parents, Lindsay and Joy, came home during the attack. He says he was able to free himself and overpower Reservato before escaping. Champion says his family had only recently met the suspect. Police say after the attack, Reservato turned the gun on himself. Police are investigating a deadly crash involving a horse-drawn buggy in the western part of the state. The Christian County Sheriff's Office says 14-year-old Judith Martin died over the weekend. She and 3 other girls were riding in the buggy near Hopkinsville when police say the horse was somehow spooked by a passing semi. A horse ran across the 4-lane highway and into the path of the car, pulling the carriage along, and all 4 girls were ejected. The surviving 3 are now at a Tennessee hospital.
3 people are facing charges this midday after an attempted burglary at a Lexington apartment. Started at about 9 o'clock last night at a building on Malibu. Police thought they would have a hard time getting the suspects to come out, so they evacuated the complex. Stephanie Land, LaMaine Brown, and Matthew Jarvis were eventually arrested on multiple drug charges. 4 UK football players charged in a gun scare on campus will make their first appearance in court this afternoon. Freshmen Stanley Williams, Tymere Dubose, Dorian Baker, and Drew Barker were all cited for misdemeanor disorderly conduct. According to court documents, the 4 were playing a game of manhunt near the Kerwin Blanding dorm complex last month. Police say shots were fired from the BB and pellet guns, sparking a campus alert. The players will be arraigned at 1 o'clock.
Lexington police have cited a woman for wanton endangerment after a toddler fell off of the moped that she was driving. Police say 20-year-old LaShayla Holmes was operating the moped on Bainbridge Court with her 3-year-old nephew sitting on her lap when she lost control. The child was rushed to Kentucky Children's Hospital after hitting his head. His injuries described as non-life-threatening. Holmes has been cited for second-degree wanton endangerment. Active volcanoes are nothing new to residents of Hawaii.
But a lava flow has taken a wrong turn, and it's left hundreds of locals there in danger. Martin Savage has the story.
Lava on Main Street. In Pahoa on the Big Island, a 2,000-degree river of molten rock is just a few hundred feet away from the town, and there is no way to stop it. Residents are on a moment's notice to evacuate as the superheated stone threatens the town of 950.
Everybody, including myself, is quite nervous. We can't see the future. The flow does what the flow does.
Hawaii's famous Kilauea volcano has continuously erupted since 1983. Usually the spectacular lava flows pour south, eventually reaching the sea. But in June, a new flow started heading the opposite way to the northeast, the dark, oozing mass consuming everything in its path. And experts say the lava has picked up speed as it heads directly for Pahoa. Hawaii's governor signing a request asking for a presidential disaster declaration and for federal aid.
As it gets closer, the key is communication with the community, keeping people informed, and everybody continue to work around the clock.
Officials going door to door, warning residents as the flow inches dangerously close. Already, some roads have been forced to close as the lava overtakes them. With many residents fearing they'll be cut off, Hawaii County is rebuilding alternate gravel roads around the expected path of the lava. People downwind from the smoke have been advised to stay indoors.
I have asthma myself, and the smoke conditions, if they increase, are going to be hard on some people.
The only hope that the people of this town have is that the lava either stops or changes direction. Otherwise, the same force of nature that created the Hawaiian Islands could very well destroy their town. Back to you.
All right, Martin Savage, thank you. In some places, the lava is chest high, close to cutting off some major roads. Big problem there, certainly. Well, new research on how to treat a child's cough and how women may be playing a dangerous waiting game with heart disease. I'm going to take a look at that now.
Ebony Williams has the latest in this Better Living report.
Heart disease strikes both men and women, but there's a big difference in the way they react. Researchers at the Harvard School of Public Health found that when heart symptoms such as pain and tightness kick in, men respond more quickly. Women are likely to go into denial and wait longer to get medical help. At that point, they may be at a more advanced stage with fewer treatment options. A national study on emergency rooms finds most overdoses are from prescription drugs known as opioids. Those medications, including methadone, are used to treat mental illness as well as circulatory and respiratory disease. The findings in JAMA Internal Medicine show prescription opioids cause nearly 68% of overdoses. Heroin accounted for 16%. And a new study looks at ways to treat a child's cough. There's little evidence supporting the use of over-the-counter medications, so researchers tried giving agave nectar, which is a natural sweetener, and placebos to children under the age of 4. Parents reported both treatments worked better than using nothing at all. Those are some of the day's top health stories. Ebony Williams, CBS News, New York.